Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If you don't mind, subscribe. Guess you're wondering what this is behind me. It's a towel. What's the purpose? Well, in the evenings, at this time of year, the sun sets and it actually comes through those blinds pretty strong. So I use it to keep my back cooler. But anyway, I didn't do a video on it. I wished I had it. You're aware that I did drill a well here almost a year and a half ago, and I pumped my own water. I got away from the barn guy water because, to be honest with you, you get 2 or 3 days a month of water, and that was it. And I was using a previous well that was across the creek, or river as the Filipino calls it, and it's just too far away to maintain. Especially if the creek was up, if you pump one off or whatever, you needed to go over and service it, couldn't get to it. So Grace and I broke over and drilled a well, which it ended up being roughly 30 feet deep. And to my surprise, once they hit water, I've got 25 foot of water in there, so I better take measure in there, and 5 foot down, I'm on top of water. Well, I put a 1-inch line down the into the well. Of course, it's got the sleeve. We sleeved it all the way down. And the water is got plenty. When we first installed it, I think it was the first one installed. I'm trying to remember. We had company from Cebu, and during the fiesta here, and it basically run 24/7. The water was constantly being used. It got very little break. I'm only using a high horsepower pump, so it's not that expensive on electricity. Of course, it's totally unsolar, by the way. So it cost me nothing. But the water does have minerals, and it is got sulfur and iron and all those things. And I filter it. I run it through 5 different filters. And to make a long story short, a year later we went through the same cycle with the Fiesta and pump water, no problems with water. But a couple of months ago, the pump lost prime. We had to prime the pump. Went a couple of months ago, about a month ago. And I thought it was just a fluke. I thought maybe someone was pumping the hand pump same time it pumping and caused it to lose its prime. Well, it started losing its prime about every day. So I'll come to the conclusion that the pump head maybe be worn or whatever. So we disassembled it and cleaned it and so forth, and it looked perfectly fine. Reassembled, and it pumped, primed it, and it pumped fine. Well, it still lost its prime, especially overnight. Well, I come to the conclusion that even though we pulled the foot valve out and it looked normal, and we cleaned it up, it had the typical iron on it and so forth from this hard water I've got, plus the sand. Excuse me. But it seemed to be okay, so we reassembled and put everything back down in the well, and everything was fine. Then it started losing its prime again. So I just decided that undoubtedly I want to put a new foot valve. The year and a half it's been down there, as much water has been through it, it's finally worn the seal to where it will drip back overnight. So I put a new foot valve on a couple of days ago, and it's been working perfect. No issue. So it tells me about every year and a half I'll have to replace the foot valve, unless the well clears up, which I don't think it will. I'm beginning to think I've got an underground stream, because with the abundance of water that I'm getting, and it never clears up. It still has the sulfur and iron and so forth in it. And even with all the filtering I do, I get suspended minerals. We don't drink it, by the way. I don't think it'd have any bacteria in it or stuff like that, but I don't think it's, with the heavy metals, I don't think it'd be safe for human consumption, especially over a period of time, due to the heavy metals. The reason I say that is because, we live in the jungle, as you're aware of, but our surrounding area is all farmland, sugarcane, and they use a lot of fertilizers and those chemicals. And they've been doing it for many years, so it's affected the groundwater. So that's what we're dealing with. And so if you have a well and it's losing prime, say overnight, or when it sits a long time without pumping, the odds are it's probably your foot valve. My second cup of coffee. And foot valve's not that expensive. I actually ordered one online, and I had forgotten what size foot valve I had. I thought it had a 3/4 on it, and it's a 1 inch. This is the 3/4. I've got it sitting here. Maybe one day I'll find a purpose for it. Who knows? No, it's got maybe I'll get a separate pump, from the creek, used for watering plants and so forth, or whatever. Maybe I'll find a purpose for it. But anyway, if you don't mind, don't forget to subscribe.